Hi, my name is Crystal Rosamond, and I just saw the Dan Pink talk. I thought it was very interesting. I agreed with him about how sometimes motivators can dull creativity. Um, I know he talked a lot about it in the sense of the business world and how a lot of times motivators and the carrot and stick approach is very 20th century business world model, and even though you can apply it to any field, and how we're living in the 21st century and how some things have changed in that regard. I was reminded a lot while watching the video Professor Young put out of how a lot of learning happens right at the edge of chaos. I agree with that. I think that'd be a great approach to do in the classroom with students, and I get it. Sometimes that's not completely possible, and he touched on that as far as saying it's a utopian idea, because how can you really do that with a classroom full of kindergartners and first graders? But I think you can sort of modify it to make it work for you. I can't help but thinking of like guided chaos, how things in school these days are very much stuck to a very strict schedule, teachers and students alike. It's not always the student's fault. It's not always the teacher's fault. It's, for lack of a better term, the nature of the beast. I did like how he touched on the experiment done by The Economist with the students from MIT and how small rewards, large rewards, how, yeah, it is. I can't help but think of when families pay for good grades. I personally have never agreed with that. I think that from the get-go, parents should show their kids and teachers should show their students that this is for their own self-worth, it's for their own betterment. And he touches on that too when he was mentioning stuff about autonomy and mastery, you know, the desire to get better at something that matters to them. And I think that overall teachers tend to forget that, you know, that it's, you know, we're so focused on teaching a certain skill and narrowing our focus in that regard that we forget to explain to the students that this is why this particular skill is so important, and showing them why it matters to them or how it's going to matter to them in the long run. I loved the candle experiment. I had never heard of that, and I think it's genius, and more so to the point, the example he made of the tax within the box. You know, it's a lot easier to be creative when, or to figure out the answer when they're not in the box. And adults, and I'm definitely guilty of this, of just putting blinders on and focusing on the task at hand. And instead of allowing for more creativity. Granted, that's going to take a longer amount of time, maybe, maybe not. But I think it's those little unknowns, those question marks, or that gray area that kind of scares administrators, scares people in the higher-ups, whoever they may be in government, deciding these decisions within our educational system. That's the hard part. That's the problem. And he touched again on this at the very end of his talk, that we know the science, we know it's there, we know it to be true, it's been proven over and over. It's the matter of making ourselves actually take that leap and applying it into our field, which with most of us would be in the classroom. So I think it'd be exciting to see a school, whether it be a classroom, a school district, a state, pioneer that type of technique. Just like I'm sure some people thought the people over at Google giving their employees free reign to do quote unquote whatever they wanted when they wanted was just going to be mass chaos and anarchy, and then just a few years down the road, look how successful Google has proven to be, and how now other businesses are slowly trying to, you know, copy their model. I think it'd be exciting to see what school would do that as a motivator for their students to show results.